Greetings, dear friends. I present to your attention the most common malfunctions and breakdowns that occur on the Renault Logan II. Despite the fact that the second generation Renault Logan is now being assembled at AvtoVAZ, the engines are still French, the old familiar 1.6-liter K7M and K4M, but this time strangled by the Euro 5 environmental standard to 82 and 103 HP respectively. The listed units did not get rid of any of the well-known Logan diseases. The 8-valve K7M also shakes like a frozen chihuahua. The 16-valve K4M can still ask for a throttle gasket replacement, announcing itself with floating RPM. Both of them still have crankshaft oil seals. Sometimes the exhaust system rattles due to the fastness of the exhaust pipe, and the ignition coils fail for no apparent reason. In general, there are enough little things. How now without them? But the reliability of the piston allows thousands of 350 to 400 not to save up for a major overhaul. None of the units consumes oil, if you do not ignore the regulator deadlines. Adjust the valve every 100 TKM, change the timing belt every 60 TKM, and the car will at least deliver to the place. In 2016, at the time of restyling, Logan was soon on a more advanced, from the point of view of Renault specialists, HR16DE-H4M unit with an intake phase shifter and a chain, so the owners of a 113 horsepower engine do not have to worry about bent wells and timely replacement of the timing belt at all. Was there really a robot at all? Until now, amateurs and the most interweight Logans find out that after all there was. It docked only with this 8-valve K7M engine and for a very short time. And those adventurers who bought Logan at the manual transmission managed to quarrel with the transmission due to failures and delays when switching. One can only guess how upset they were when they found out that such a box is also difficult to sell complete with all Logan. The K4M and H4M units were equipped with a DP2 automatic for an extra charge, which on the whole proved to be worthy. Among the systematic transmission failures, only electronics were noted, or rather an oil pressure sensor and less often solenoids. Both changed relatively inexpensively, but in the second case, the transmission has to be completely drained from the automatic transmission. Those who already change the fluid every 50 TKM usually do not know problems with the box. After all, the DP2 has not lost a fair amount of sensitivity to wear products. The mechanical gearbox is absolutely reliable in terms of gears, which means that you hardly ever have to disassemble it. True, this is possible under one condition: if you do not oversleep the leaking oil seal of the left CV joint. It happens. If luck is not yours, then it will not be superfluous to say that the seal changes only with the removal of the entire tripod with the gearbox deprived of oil. Under normal handling, the clutch with the smell of a burned disc will not disturb from 150 to 200 TKM. He usually does not leave anymore, and even so the result is not bad. I would like to say that the Renault Logan suspension is, as before, legendary, unkillable, omnivorous, and what else has been written, said, filmed, etc. about it. But I will not say, because since phase 2 of the first generation, Logan's chassis has ceased to cause such impressions. Yes, it is omnivorous, more precisely, you cannot specifically break this one, but its resource is quite ordinary, like most. In places it is even worse. For example, ball joints often do not live up to 50 TKM. Steering ends, as well as struts and bushings SPU up to 100 TKM, are also usually asked for replacement. The shock absorbers and silent blocks of the levers are the toughest of all. They can hold out up to 150 TKM. For the first time ever, the brakes began to cause complaints. Like its sister ladder for Lagus, brake discs were out earlier than expected. By 90,000 kilometers, these elements already have a solid side, requiring either a temporary groove or a complete replacement of the friction unit. When owning a Renault Logan, you should be careful with respect to the body, or rather to its paintwork. Owners complain, the car seems to be new, but it is already covered with small scratches. It is advisable to immediately cover the rear wheel axle with armor film. Also, like Duster, these places on the way to the Dacia are attacked with stones and other abrasives, which leads to a whole scattering of chips, which, unlike scratches, can be removed by polishing. Everything is the same as before. Some owners are worried about cracks on the body in the area where the roof joins with the C-pillar. The owners are worried, though not groundlessly, but still in vain, since this does not lead to corrosion or any other negative consequences. Russ doesn't really like Logan's body at all, at least until it's broken. Everyone has wanted this for a long time. Renault Logan, although very relative, can be called comfortable. Yes, there are still no plastic seals protecting the upholstery, some trim levels even lack a center console, but due to ergonomics, which was clearly the first time they thought about, it became straightforwardly unusual convenient. Climate and cruise control, side airbags, hands-free, all this works as it should, but the increase in electronics inevitably led to some breakdowns. For example, a piece of the people's engine was taken over by the left steering column switch, which refused to obey commands or, on the contrary, spontaneously turned on the high beam. In such cases, the entire node has to be changed. There is nothing you can do about the hovering fuel level indicator. After refueling, you have to wait a few minutes to understand that the gas station operator did not cheat with the volume filled into the tank. For many, the heated windshield only worked halfway, or rather, the passenger side toughed out in winter, but the driver's side, on which everything depends, did not. The cost of the new part for the owners of Logan turned out to be too high, since the problem lay not in the glass itself, but in the banal oxidation of contacts on the way to it. I cleaned it and drove on. The materials of the seats, of course, are simple. They get dirty and shaky by 50 TkM. Hard plastic panels and upholstery inevitably generate a population of crickets over time, but the steering wheel rim is now wear resistant and does not turn into a rotten sausage, even by 100 TkM. Judging by Renault Logan fans, he no longer needs stamina. Did you want comfort? Receive. Here are the options and conveniences for you. Thus, the model moves from simple to complex, where, as you know, not everything is so cheap and reliable. One way or another, despite the increased comfort, Renault Logan remains a workhorse that can be bought without much hesitation in a used form. Little things, whether you like it or not, will disturb, but the resource of the main units does not cause any concern. Good examples are ready to last longer without breakdowns than most of the models we sell, unless, of course, the car has been in a taxi. The practice of selecting used cars shows that Logan, just the same, remains popular among taxi drivers. Approximately half of the vehicles on sale in the used market show signs of heavy transport of people. Such options can be determined due to not the most wear-resistant materials, but rather to the wear of the rear seats, belts, and upholstery. Usually they are clearly more worn out than the driver's seat. Naturally, all cars that have worked in a taxi and not only have signs of an odometer correction. Determining the real mileage by electronic methods is problematic, even if we take into account that the mileage is duplicated in the ABS unit. The readings are easily and without a trace cleaned up there as well. Focus on the general wear and tear of the car. On this, information about the problems of Renault Logan II is exhausted. If you know more, or do not agree with what you heard, I'm waiting for you in the comments.